wako kwenye taaluma mbalimbali. One young man came to our evaluation meeting. Akasema anaongoza a business ambayo iko na value, was it up to 3 billion at that time? Ya kwamba they are very progressive. We are happy about the program. Na nyinyi wazazi nataka niwaambieni kwamba we shall be partners with you in the molding and coaching of your son moving forward after sherehe ya leo. Kwa hivyo wakati wowote ukiona tu neno ambalo you are concerned, piga simu kwa ofisi yetu na tutakuwa pamoja nawe. Sige sabotenin agoitai. We have done so for other, including parents ambayo ni single parents, na tumefanya pamoja na wao tukienda mbele. So kwa neno hili la kwanza nataka nikupongeze mwenyekiti. Bwana Lele, pongezi ndugu. Kuongoe kabisa. And the committee, I mean the board, I mean the parents committee, those who manage main journey, wakifanya na board. Ama chawale kuongoe. Kongetengo tau, ingelenga kuma bete ngala engap tu. Nige mege nyo niage kutinyo iki ko ito nyo ko urbi jenyo wongo yarab lele wagas kitulia meje ago inde ko mangrane lago chu engore ne garara ago ga kimoi wagele mami besen ata kido pongezi. Kwa sababu hiyo napeleka agenda kwa National Executive Council. We are in the process of reconstituting the culture board katika Emo Community Development Society. And I am persuaded, maana nimeona wazazi wa mwaka huu wa 2023, they are thinking towards improving and achieving the dream we have had for this organization. Hatua ya kwanza, the National Executive Council imempa ruhusa the Board of Culture to adopt out of your committee 4 people to be co-opted into the board. Number 2, we are persuading, because we are in the process of reconstitution, and we are asking to consider even further, so that we are going to give, and I am requesting Arab Lele, because of your experience, background, and you have demonstrated your heart for this organization, this department of culture, without this, majas asomin, asome board, because you are soon going to have a chair to lead this board for the next 3 years. I am persuading all of you, as I have persuaded the National Executive Council, that I'm going to nominate Arab Lele to be the chair of the board. I only Arab Gaitany. Sige achieving the dream. Gigi. Kwa niaba ne babororieta kwa lenjin akwa niaba ne ba organization tugul amaja tororun this board si query for the next 3 years renewable asagabit kete menjete new, and we start the infrastructure tinyega mogeti. So as we meet next week, the other are procedures. Thank you so much. Kota kororione amot kwalenjin jemiga chegogase enduget nguno ngalali kagigo Arab Lele koek chairman en ngalegab pitonwekab kwalenjin netonojin menjosiekab emo ak pitonwek tugul. In fact, kimache asegeibunen tuguk chechang chekimache ke modernisen, kimache ke reformen everything. Suma kilokin gandoik chep togol to ni ga muiwek kilokin gele kakilokchi sambut ikoi boiyotab kolenjin nelen kolach ko kiwot kong'ebeben kotoben timin ako kikebe sukul. We want to reform everything asokoek nenjoni ole mangune tuguk tugul chebo gaa. Otoje kumakas bichutok chekamwa nakasir metit maona ole olene tugul akot en ng'alekab tugul chemokotin. So we will say more, but I have to. So touch the co-option letter, but not appointment for chair. Amachagonin parwet. Singi manda yung tuyo na kung gabi juga lagay nam ako din and panyaba ni babururiye itoret ke realizen ng'alekab budget ag our cultural practices in Gorani. Congratulations.
Makofi kwa chairman, makofi. Pongezi kwa chairman.
He is a consummate public servant, and we would like to bring him to bring that particular expertise. Thank you. Kugatige. Ongoi. I present this letter to you. That is for the co-option and your members. Moses Kebut, you are joining the board of you are co-opted to the board of culture in Emo Community Development Society. Thank you, sir. Then Mr. David Cherono. Kongoi Kapisa. We want this thing to continue. And I'm so proud of you. You own the process. Kongoi Kapisa. Thank you so much. And Naomi Chebi. Congratulations, ladies. Kongoi, you are co-opted into the board. Imagine gaitu ingo gitilile ne money. Imagine wala goroni ne gaitu. Ge gase legi miga gota college. Thank you so much. Inge legi mo bete jebi oso is legi gure chemenjo. Ne yogi otu tomre ni igojin rusa goro. Wania bane bo kwani tukul. Igure chemenjo. Arang gigeras tegistana ka gogonin bijoni. Ora ba kene ba. Thank you so much. Very good. Walio netai no negomache amwa, and we are going to have a meeting with the board, and we will have an induction meeting, and then we will share the main vision of our community. Neno la pili. Neno la pili. Sababu ya, this is what is called in English language, for those who want to hear and understand, because they come from far, it is what they call the rite of passage. Correct spelling, R-I-T-E, rite, which comes from ritual. It has covenant, it has commitment, it has several. They call it rite of passage. In sociology, it has 5 components when you talk about rite of passage. The first one is that after a human being has been conceived in the womb of a woman, it takes 9 months to stay there. When that child, the process of bringing that particular child or conceived person into the world so that he can walk on his 2 feet and be in charge of himself or herself, it is called the birth rite of passage. That is natural. It is a process of what we call the natural self-preservation of humanity as a race. Number 2 is initiation, where you are promoting a child into adulthood. In our own culture as Kalenjin, This is the most important contribution a society gives to an individual. The third one is marriage. A union between a man and a woman. In Kalenjin, we have only one definition about the sexes that is involved in marriage. It is union between a man and a woman. Anything else is against our culture. Right, the third rite of passage is a union between a man and a woman. Any other crazy description is against our own cultures and against nature. The third rite of passage, according to our culture, is being initiated into eldership. To have a moral authority in society and custodian and a reservoir of knowledge of the community, and becomes a line of defense where a community can rush to. And that is the elders of society. This is what Kalenjin as a community, as indeed other African societies, have had it for centuries, and it has preserved our community. And final one is joining the ancestors. It's a rite of passage. It's called death, it's called whatever. But when you go there, you maintain what we call a sense of belonging. Having the history that you belong. And you hear what Kiswahili puts it, and I want to summarize. They say, wahenga walisema. Mulisikia hiyo? Kimwa boisiek chebogen. Ukasema utage? Yoko ichut yotok, iwendi ak manda bororiet irip chengolindok simawechwech ke biik kobetyo. So komwoe kityo kele kimwa boisiek chok kouni. Building on the foundation of our elders that we wanted to preserve. That is point number 2 that I wanted to share. Because of that, rite of passage in terms of promoting a young man to adulthood is very important. There are only 2 which are very important contribution by society to any young man. Any young man, young woman. When you are called upon to join and summoned by the society to practice this, it is very important to us. Kali, yatitae tabwerik, katorore tab TV, komangune lakwan di goe picture echen, kote tutien nebo gomanut emberoriet tab Kalenjin, ne mamigi nege iroge. Okaso, choto koeng, chematinye mokoryo anan ko kibanania. Choto koeng, chematinye chi neo, matingo chito neo netya, nete nemiat ak sobon. Kota inyo menjoni, iyegu kwamba tarusyo, ak iyegu kopo tarusyo, mami kainetage, mami chegelenen mesimiwa anagongo, yani kerget tukul, we are eating kimigere bet agenge. Chito neo eng tumi ko boyob tumak motiryot. Kumoga sa ngale chato. Ang biik chekatebete panel nebo kamotirin, kenya kinda chairman, kinda nango, siga sa gelen, mi chegelen motirin ko bakon. Nagiituyo ko ba iwej, boyob tum, akon tonchi tum to. Kebwa tukul akot ane kwa patron, anya sise kityo kakanye, akayani agera le kakweri tum to komye, kot koitay. En Kalenjin, komami chi amubanani negete kwa tum. Mami. Akon komatinye teta, anango tuguk chetagetoe, kwen bororietab Kalenjin, tumto, koba nebo nani, agoba tumdo chito ne mogorio. That is why ngoma wega werit ko wega mama. Ngoma wega mama ko wega ba wilaita ni kiboboyot. Anang gwagop kamen yi ne tupchok chep kamen. Ako nyor tumdo magyetin. Number 2, right of passage of marriage is available to every individual in Kalenjin. Ako chito kibanan ya magyeten yote. Magyeten yot. That is why kimu konyo koito sandet. Kongo matinye tuga konyo ni akwanget. Ako losete kotunya barugi agi ogetutuga. And that is why in Kalenjin you could not pay dowry at once. Iko nutuga tukul. Yo bichitu sinagimsigis kidogo, Secretary General. Nachogurumitu gimsigis yani le namanam. Mana ligosu kunena no atebo gimsigis bokyo kunenin lemega anang onungulo. Ache Kalenjin acha magyame klentelian di kiamoror. Boys tumda che marer nengele ngarer gi yapta. Amu magmache goror chichi. Okase ya na mogase. SG. Maji kimsigise le kometagi gile na manam. Kalenjin ko gigilen konyo teta nendo wang moita. Boys agroria gole. Age to kopga. Age kan junalak kot ko ile kanam sogogo. Ojut sogogurere. Kot konyo chepto ko tisis. Oge ngiwarwe ara. Kot ki goji muita ko ibu konyo konyi. Agotage bang ko tungolil boyota maliban konyo libani weri. It was a duty of the agotache. Iliban arabusia na ituga kotar. Lagi niging tu nego angwanu. O in geli larabusia na ke chai ko ikama magolagi ko nget nego angwanu. O leji oyacha mugilil kya gonor boyota tenyu ane nego no. Because in Kalenjin you cannot say because that one is a poor man cannot marry my daughter. No. Iatete. Kalei. Iatete. Kalei. Iatete komatinya masabak soy. Wait. Amagigirenji ko bot kemei kegura ke ko bot iwot. Wait hinne ke banan yara ko chita mutai. Iro re chita ke 1969. Kole brrrr. Where gagibus. Imute geter. Kota tunia ugirwagin de tap geter. Megugi. Many years back, I'm your no bagra. Bagi ureji obat kemei, anage ureji obat ne. Obati what? Therefore, this program, sons, is very important. We are performing it on you, so that you carry it over, and you perform it to your children, generations to come. It is very important because it is the leveler of all. Emi menja ko magna yele ongo yegir je bioso juga tiga mu apoise juga tinyu mukwaji segenu yere ona me mukwaji kai gaske mu approbation anyi acha meigweja dogi go ni ndengolin acha ni go itonda Kalenjin olegi ngete. Jambo la tatu ambalo nataka niseme na ni ya kumalizia. Alafu niwaalike tuombe. Ni kwamba rite of passage has a cardinal and principal role. Why it is important? Why are we performing it? Number 1, it is to enhance self-preservation of a people. I want to repeat it. To enhance self-preservation. To enhance self-preservation. So that the community can survive like it has survived over the centuries. It is about 250 years ago. So they started a traditional ritual of rite of passage which has sustained the community of Kalenjin for 250 years, which is now where we are. Can you say, Pagal Ata Ain Awanum? Where we are now is that the same cultural practices is being challenged by the fourth industrial revolution, the digital revolution. We can no longer sustain the methods we have used in the past to pass the message to future generations. This particular digital age, with three components which are very devastating if not managed well. Number one is the big data. The amount of information accumulated and put together in a very small space is too much. This young man is among, in sociology, the most informed generation than any of them since the Industrial Revolution in 1840. This one is ahead than any other generation. This is the most informed. And I want to repeat it. This is a generation that is exposed to more information, but without a capacity to interpret it and apply it and use it. So the big data has three components. One is the velocity of information. Every minute, the amount of information and interaction in the world is in thousands. Number two, it has what you call the capacity to create silos and compartments to grade and they are having it handy. So much that if they want to get information about news, it is on a pattern. If you want to get information about business, it is on a pattern. If they want to interpret something, it is on a pattern. The third, which this particular big data does to humanity. It's not the speed of information and not the silos of information, but it is the amount, the volume of information. It is too much. That is number one. Number two is what they call VR, that is virtual reality. Yani bringing the natural and put it into a computer so much that you don't need to go to Masai Mara to watch the animals, you have it here. That you can no longer train by taking a small aircraft to learn to be a pilot. You are taken into a small cubicle and a simulation is done and you learn how to fly a jet when you are in your own closet. You fall with it, you shake with it, you actually go into the sea when you are inside. It is called virtual reality. Even training of soldiers, which is coming, is more of mental training rather than even feel. This one is very serious. And then the last one is what we call AI, artificial intelligence, where they are putting the head of a human being into a computer. Do you know today that you can travel from Tokyo, Japan to New York with a robot without assisting it? Did you know that? They can appear at the airport, register themselves, and they tick the box. And if you can check passport application, what you call what you call visa application. Have you seen a place say, are you a human being or a robot? That is not a joke. It is true. It is true. These are the ones who can drive a vehicle alone and they can stop it somewhere. Because of this particular digital challenge, system must be reorganized in such a way that it will make sense to the future generation. And that is why, through research and through immense discussion, when Christianity was celebrating 100 years of evangelical movement about few years ago, and the other churches from the days of Ludwig Graft in 1843 and the Africa Mission AIM and Africa World Gospel Church in the 1889 and 1900, when we were celebrating 100 years, we the theologians in Bible school in the 80s, we had a discussion to review the movement of Christianity. And the following became our observation. Number one, and this one I will say in Kalenjin, Ketab embandap kaniset en Kalenjin konamgea kwandap tai. Yenyoru gele kalya Kalenjin sogo membership in a local church ko engela bik tisap taman ko jebyo sogo tisap ko mureni go somok. Ako chota muren jotak somok waeng en jotak somok ko manam toy galwal ngolyotab Jehovah. Koi mejas elegiyang ne. The second challenge is that he take chapter through the movement in the last 65 years about feminism. Keyochi empowerment chapter. Kowe kweritap Kalenjin murende konam ko terterit ako wisisit ip konyokorit nesa ingi nyoru koyotab Kalenjin kongongololi kokurenin werit kamet mam wale nagene boyot otebein mama akoyolei weri mai nay lagi bakagen komit kongwong nito kitinyo ko chepyoset ako kingonyoni ko kwondongu kingonyoni ko chengonu sandet mele kinyo ko chengonu in weri umawagas noto Leiti lechini ke turai ni ma yani kowe kwe chito komeko play komeko ya role nenyi. This became our problem. And the men became weaker and weaker and weaker. Ako inguna ko boldos chebioso ulongalaljine iwe boisi. Angalaljine boisi pike ngalalji ami wa chera pororiye. Kele mitu galak chegero betaban kele na iyana ilenda gigiro betaban ta mogisorwe moni kinyol getaben ge ngonda ogase kenye gichungusa ngele gimeano yenyoru gele ngagi metumdo kinget chumbindet ko kaitu netai konyo ko katartu yene gibo in Berlin Conference in 1844 and 1845 Koloba gomia Africa amugimache ke kongaren Africa. The first front to conquer is their culture and cultural values. It is documented. It was written and it was commended by the governor they used to call the super governor Negiba India. On his voyage in 1832, he traveled to Africa, and he came to South Africa, and he came across Africa, he went back. During Cologne meeting in 1845, he was among the people who talked, and he wrote this before the conference. An African has the best culture. The culture that does not discriminate against the poor. Their system of economy can sustain. And he said without conquering it, the European culture will make no sense. Kintulas, Hongo Itugeba is supported missionaries. So those who interpreted the Bible, in the Tapkai, Satan. In Galenjin, Hongele in the Tapkai, Wagle ancestral. Yani Mele Gogile Chesawil, in the co-ancestor. Gele Gigure Lakwani Oigap Kai. No, not of it. Igure, boys, Chegibatai, Igure, Gainai, Chegibabik, Chegindoi. Because of that misinterpretation, why to Chumbin Kole Chaurigani, Monataka Fanyani, Kole boys, Chegibaina, Aginongi, Kole, Tunataka Kutairisia, Sisi Tunabanyanga Toara. When you Chumbin that Agino Kwagaptum. All his Kogisir Kitabut Nagure, the forgotten book in 890. From 1890 to 1905, 06. Kasi kitabut, the Nandi, the language, and the folklore. You need to get that book. So it's one of the forgotten books. Another one, it is written in 1964, 60s, 59, the running tribe. Then you want to know more, read the book, by Anderson, the eroding commons. Now, they say, that is what they say. In fact, in 1964, decision. Because of that, it drives their determination. When two things. Number one, number two, that is why Koitalel was murdered and assassinated in 1905. Without Tumdanywa, no, they are ordinary. Kalenjin without Orgoi, they are ordinary. Feminism in the world. Stability of families. System nagiguren patriarchy. Nagile meti tap kago boyo. Kolegi majege istagio sige guntugul metewe guyigayam. Number two, kolegi majege promoted legislation. Nenyor wanyoni legi go chongongen boyo tap college megongen tai amegongelet. Kobetagi ne jebio megongen tai amegongelet golem gondo kolegi gole boy ginga gile gondo boyo nenyo ko mama we jango leje jonge kasi boyo konyo nei to go nanyi ogi ke kwer boyo nanyi ke te ngatuti ga bingwe te we gi sias kele. Let us look at the culture itself. Ke ibwas tumdo in the mesa ngamuti ga kwale the spiritual leaders are professionals in the 80s and in the mesa ke tabin tugu chok tugul Tumdanyo, agetebe Jesu gile, hinere kiano en tumiwe Mungu. Nenega jujete jugi kanje dundungweju, awo ningelengi mutumbi ko bwagane samba kanyo ko bwaboisi. Arai, hinere kiano en. Chegil genyoru gele, it is only not more than 5%. The rest is a social order. The rest brings about sense of belonging. Ara ngololwa kingap kage chomyeji. Kele ongewekyin biikab Kalenjin tumdanywa. Ouye giu age kewal kityo ke chop ke reform in the syllabus. So that we modernize and make it in tandem with technology, education, and the social revolution that got taken place. So we started with what we call a trial program from 1985 to 1995. Kingo itu kena mate tokwek keyo kidogo, kipsigis kidogo, olimba tugen kidogo, kitinye lembus. By 1995, komenjo siya chagi kitinye ko karibu kwa eji njeba kipka chupa kanisa. The third thing nagisumbanej kanuret nagiginur lago. Kiginur bi chagi kiba kanisa. Ako amut ko ba tumda na kibagab Jimmy. Ko kiginur kongetep nyongi Kemnyegei, kinureng Juma, kinureng Sawe, kinureng Korongoro, en biik che tinye to tinye pororiosek che to tinye ibinwek tugul. Ketebege kele amu akot kandoik che kisome siasa che kakiyatita en kap Jimmy ko kibo kosom tumdo kipkap. Finally kikiwekta tugul lagokab Meskenye ak ingen ilen tumdo nyo ko Chepkinoria kechupchin tuguk oeng. Number 1, maiku motirio. Number 2, maiku kandoin. Kelamu kibitar tumdo. That is why kibilang ko taboryon kondo bi kondo ko mi oret ko chililyo. Amu chubutik che kikichube en emet. Ipkenerek se kiboitinikab Jehova. Kele kanyo chubwe biik alake che kanyo ko basken nyo ko kimumain ako le kitene Jehova. Komi Jehova kipsengwet. Kine nekiyak kele amu kikiwiny tumdo kiunge lagok chok chemi kaniset. So what we did, kele ngale nenyo tumdo. King achek lembus kingo choruge eng chakaya yun kobunu ngatip kong. Ororo tumdo en timboroon konyoni ko chutu lembus. Ko ngale kikikoite tuga. Lengi nyobuch. Yeah. Kikonok tuga. Kokingekonu tuga kobunje tumdo. Onait kemwa kele bas tumi. Number 1 kobo kwanisiek. Chito neikoito tumdo yakai kokoito boyo kokochin werit tumdo. Kokasabi chu. Bas kemwa boisiek kokakichuru kele kimache akenam kapkoros ongikochin Christianik tumdo lagokchok. Kikochas tumdo. Makiketke now 85. Kekweri kele tatatangeitet 10 years. Kongetik che kikiyatite akikochi tumdo. Kongot ko kikilabata agenge nekiyokwal busiek koalen oeng anan ko somok. Jeit koberegei akoi konge kimira. Thus, because of that, Simatates, we began to institutionalize in 2001. That is why we registered a society. We me muchi iyaege chichoge ni kweriot arab la maun agile ibasabas chep Kalenjin agiyachi tumdo ilyai mararima angiyai chogan urimo sagan a system nekikure inheritable system. That is why we have a board. Kanyara nyoni arab lele ko jogo ko chairman pani gobune ko ingoritaren ko ipondage utebe ngechere ko kweri ko yapta ko tumtab Kalenjin ne yaptoge kusilangwet kot ko itieben wagik chebwani eng imbiti. Atare anan aibu ko nyongolyo de balet. So we agreed that we reform it and we do it. Ko yugi atya nyongelen ko ongete jeto lagene ngam mutoriye lokwe to unde gorok wo tumdo gorok. So ingenyisiek kemite tayo 1 year or so kegure ke Kalenjin tugul kakat kamwa ji kole gure kotab biot kigure ke Kalenjin tugul sikiyasten tumdanyun koek agenge. Mom agenge ya jeme chitugul koboru nenyi ingel yemengen ile kitaunen kano tumta ko tai nam kityo kibarbarchi mat ile nalen nyege netai barbarchi nye maya lakini ko oin kale kole awe karawa kole etuyas arab lele agen arab koech kekurge komakikur kosowe kibinda nenyoni amu karibu ibinda nyo chutok chemache sokoyai transition initok kengalalas kekur pororiet tugul kisaste eng emet tugul akeyatita koek tumdo kwagenge. This is tuyet kole quick. Yeah. Ejekitu ng'alek. Bas, amache alecho kongoi netendanyak muren akwek tugul chekobwa. Aberurok eng kainetab Jesu. Bas, amun nekanget nebo mwisho and the process nekibendi ko nekikuren stage nebo kalenjin ko nebo kamanga nekitoken werit konyo gaa. Konyo kotyech ng'atatek eng gaa aketach eng gaa kokochi boiyotet ak yenyo wering'ung gaa weri ng'ete menjoni kotain menyo meta amu eng kalenjin ko kikitoken tany amu kiteta ko kit nekiki ko manachi ko ngibo chebo modern ko you give the best that will form an economic foundation for your son. Baloge gerbi utenyu nebo saet. Si akon ko mainyoru eng olin kamanga ngomache kolany ndegeit lakwet ra kemboi koberurot kakotaga kenyu. Amache itagen kap korosuni kwa emo. This is now what we call the reintegration of the son back home. Kabun gratut, kero gratut ni kikitay ni mitapte ni. Ko kikirije eng kurgat si chutu nga. Mau noto ke? Bas, ko yotok kinige ngudas amache sa tagu noto. Kung getaje amwale witach wering'ung obo. And don't outsource integration of your son into the society. Be available. Rani amuga agobun rite of passage. You are getting a new clansman. Itaborengu. Itungogura bo yane nyagole jan. Weri obo joge ngalal. Belin ta gure nen ngeta. Le jan ya gure nen na ilaga ingelin. Ole ga gure nen bor nyo. Ne mingin. Ara ga gi mutura weri gung ne bor ngong. Ne minin imutate. Obendate tuai. Chebioso ni amu ga go nyo weri ka. Teje chebioso magai no gigeno. Teje chebioso weri kwa got ko ekpi. Toben weri ngungen gonyet chebo bandap tai. Agi mokchine mie giro ile kama golle ko matile ko geri ngo iberber ga mai nai geso. Ara go ingeni nye ile gine. Lejin baba onge nalle ayegu chine kitebie guni. Baba magiya gine uni. Chine unye ke gonyitin agi borchi weri kondik kinaile kago nyora gine tegista enga. Eguchi. Oh. Eguchi le. Majita manara bay. Ako petigri gamet. Iki chongo sa ngotom gitu. Tabe na wena kasiye. Woo. Lejo go singi se ngai go singi je murenik. Ile is nyogo si chera tabe. Encourage them. Oga sen alia de moy wo. Wey mami chine ribu la kwengo si ribe. En jotok amaja makwak bandaptai. Lebata chametap ke. Mwisho o nangigap ko lenjin jomi Masai. Mosubor wachi wamngal yaptabi. Umete ngal yaptaboro riet o kan kidogo kutotungo bwa boy jega Masai. Kola ginye ke so minara banu mindo ywe. O basi. Lakini magesomgei agete kangalalwo chepyosona komiyo komele kangalalwo ko inege kangalalwo ngo chepyoso nebo boyo kale ii oribwe biikab Kalenjin chemi Kajiado amu kiribe ko biikab koron kale kibirwe kura amakisom ara kisome oyot kandoindetab emoni lechi kotobenwech lakwa agenge eng yu kamwa eng yo amache asomok kwa boyo kale ii ukase kale tumete ng'elyeptab koroni agoi konyo kocheng'ak boisiekab koroni kolondoiwech akichomiechi notok nebo oeng ilechini Mungu nekiyai barak ak ing'weny kongoi nekakonech paunatet ketawalan Kenya nebo oeng ko ki biikab Kalenjin. Imuch ketinye ng'al tutigin chekimoisotien keterolocho kibo Munjusi ole kinye kicham koskoleng yo ko kimiono amitwogik makitugun cheking'ering ebendi siketumdaenge Munjusi ako ka tubo Munjusi chekami yo ketienchinigei koskoleng ko ki lagok yo kimoche koamisie komi chito kwamdoi sutek amdoi ngwek eng bekab kong ketienchin anyu kele cherirei komi chorwe amdoi sutek kimye komi chorwe yokas notok lakini kitun kakibetun kokioriop talai eng gaa keng'ololchigei kelechigei kokiwerik matiny ngo kikimaisoti Munjusi amu kakebetun ongenyochingei kat eng ramrumitekab cherirei amdoi sutek kimyet komi chorwek akechomye keku kot agenge kotab talai kamwaun alechi akelechigei makimokengei kiy ngichut koin akarusin akobe ak korkeng'ung komakimokengei kergei kit nekikilen kurget kerusin akelia akichut akoutiecho tugul akechomye kebun chi agenge asome Kalenjin eng ng'weny tugul ole mitei ole nguno chekimi sang chekimi ko kingebortosi kesome kole chom biik alak kole arap Kosgei bo iman tos kisir iman alechi kisire kakas eng muguleldo akase eng oretab Jehova ale kisire kole kisire iman komi tiondo nino nebo tuguk kotinye karik ale acha matin karik kibokoi long'et chukam kong'ololwech arap Tengechai 1969 kakilechi kalya mumiat nekome eng tulwet yu ne karisiek chebendi kotokchinigei Katundu ketebe kelechi boiyot teben boisiek chekibo chumo melen kiobotes kiakase kityo ale achombirenien yo kotebe boisiek chekiechen kolech aramuch kiya mumiandani ako kolech arap Tengechai mogin echotion nekikitoror eng emoni ako kikimutyi Kenyatta 1964 ong'etieni obokokchi mumek biikab kobo mumek amu ng'ete mumian neng'et kwam chito nekiame mumek akwam nekikerei akwam nekikosei obokokchi chebo mumek kwam mumekwak lakini otobe long'eto ketoben as long'et mami long'et en Kenya nebo bororiet age noechin ak nebo Kalenjin ko koi kibo kotab koi long'et okase namokase ale kibo kot ngoro asome biikab Kalenjin wherever they are amelen kele kasomin ile alen komi kit nekalen itoreto mangitoben ilen alen komaisa Mungu akoisa berurwokik chekikona Jehova akoisa kit nekaiberureno bikyok akoisa Jehova akoisa kandoinatetab emoni asoisoin siisa ikonon katokomi nekai ako kasimo chorwa tokomi ne tokomi kiy age Vincent tokomi ne Nakonget komakemwa iman kityo kekemet koisanyun akiberur murenjun eng kainetab Jeiso. Asome biikab Kalenjin tugul otebi neng'om. Otebi neng'om. Kumokase kale otebi neng'om. Arai nde seng'eng'ate imache sikone ine. Ikone ine. Sire nekakokone Jehova ongerib laitoriat ongetonon ak president. Ngetonon ak president. Sokoba wemoni Arap Moi. Kokicham kowineni kura en 30% only. Amu kikaistagei biik chechang koba sang. Lakini biikab Kalenjin chekimi serikali, biik chekimi kandoinatet, kokiek akenge akonomyo koek akenge aketuch boiyot akoi mwisho. Angchu mangu biik kokikondena in WhatsApp kole kakere en ole kile kotesetai. Kekere keine ongerib emet. La mwisho ko angot ndokeren ng'alekab uchumi kouy amu we must make hard decisions. So malo ngeite kenyino lo barawetab mut tisab lo kokakowek urwet kokararanit. Maya. Basi ngatarchi yotok amuin kamache ale mamache kuma twaise ng'ololchi bororiet amu melen it is life actually kasi biik eng Kenya ak sang. Amache ngomangu ngetichu ketil kirwoget nekararan. Ara amache asomas ketonone kaptuiyet komugul. Chokobwoni oibu kelyek chemiach akobo tum.
Jehova nekichobwech oret nebo katuyet eng Kiptayat Jeiso akituye Kalenjin koik kot agenge.
Kotomo anyun akur akochi boiyot tum kotet akokon banda. Mache akur chorwenyu Arap Vincent kityo kakatiet abo. Kaitu kanata katwaise tumdo. Mache tele chamgei. Yebo kemulya kobo. Very good.
Kongoi patron baib nafasi ni or kasari samwach kongoi emo sigik tugul materenik eng boisiet nekokwai nemie kakibwa yu kokiboisiek akichek chekiribe akichek atebet ak indetab bororiet. Tumdo ko kit nebo komonut eng kimugulmet age tugul. Eng boisiek choto bo lagochu. Kokomong lakwet eng tumdo kuno, kokokonin ibwat kabwatutiet neter kosir nekobo amut amu kainyoru chito age nekakobunjin nekaron koiku manung'otiot kuinye. Sigindet ne noto mama murechu mi tai yu namwoe kuno amu sokoi lagochu komong kokokermengei. Maimuch akot kibar solopchot, maimuch akot keyai makosa age tugul amu tumdo kotilil, makimeche akot kobit ng'olyo age tugul komi lakwet menjo. Unoto anan maunoto. Ko chepyosok amu manyoru nafas amu mami nafas abunu Masop Nandi ole mi tumdo mwenyewe Kimasop nekisome tumdo. Kelen kongoi amu nenyo tumdo nekase komwoe patron kole ngechek kikochi tuga kokikochi Nandi amu kibo tumdo Keiyo ak Nandi ak Maasai. Kebunu Nandi achek kelen kongoi patron. Kwa niaba nebo my late cousin brother James Bates ne noto kikau kalyoto Dave Emo abaibai mising ko ki family nenyo kele kongoi mising amu kiotesetai boisionoto. Sigichu atorchinigei sigikab murechu. Yekakomong mureno kuno kong'wan kut boyondoni. Yekakwo tum lakweng'ung iribegei boyondoni kakong'wanit kutit. Ngumamwa kiy. Tes kondet netinye boyot yekakomong wering'ung menyin ang wering'ung ibechi boyot amu kotko boyondoni akong'war korokta kometinye chi. Kasenaran yo boyo kapsabot material nenoto kuno. Ara ma joib nafas kitikin yo to dategei. Matirenju ak lago chole jok. Pongesi ngarab lelei. Boyo tapkap. Yukimam. Napakamongo. Kena yanyun patron. Kena jita nege gojo kangalala bakamrotu. Boyo ndo ne yukimam. Bakamongo. Motyo niki neti chumbindan ngalege moe goroni. Oke dia netian das niki moe ngalege ko goroni tage gojo ngejere. Alenge gojo ni ko mai nai. Boyon mongo niki ngolo chumbindan tamu ki ngom mongo. Pogong ibonge serap lele. Ara mutu tamama ya nogu. Amu ngalege ko joko moe material no. Material le hai. Very good, Kosgei. Makofi.
Asante sana. Sasa ametoa ngojera